Imagine you are in a waiting room somewhere, and a huge guy walks in. Compared to him, you are just a puny little figure sitting there. The man plants himself in front, obviously enjoying his sense of power. It's not remembered exactly what he wanted. He wanted something, and the presence around him intensifies. But you simply look at him, and you say a few things. Suddenly the man becomes very uncomfortable, because there is no attempt made to defend or compete in any way, and he seems deflated, like a balloon. He doesn't know what to say or do anymore. This is an interesting phenomenon. Regardless of the circumstances, what matters most is maintaining a connection to the power of presence, which is the power of the present moment. Embracing the present moment is the key to tapping into your inner strength. In the end, the most fundamental aspect of being human is being fully present in the here and now. So, the significance of the present moment is emphasized. It is the foundational reality of all spiritual awakening, not merely a passing idiom. As your awareness of this idea grows, you will see that it is fundamental to comprehending your authentic identity and your relationship with the divine. Right now is also when you're strong, not one's individual self, but one's remembered, enduring, and inseparable self. As the one consciousness that underpins all occurrences, it has always been and will always be an essential component of the power that permeates the universe. All phenomena are fleeting manifestations of the one awareness. That is incredibly powerful. It makes no difference whether it materializes in this world or not. Its sole possible form is that of an emanation, a force that passes through or into a made object. You can't expect this strength to rise and fall with the seasons. Every moment and breath is shaped by it. It is constant and embedded in the fabric of reality. Situations, material goods, or approval from others are not necessary for it. To those who are willing to look for it and have the knowledge to access it, it is always there. Realizing your oneness with this power releases you from the never-ending quest for validation from outside sources. It's wonderful to experience that power, which isn't relative since it's understood that everyone else is merely a transitory manifestation of that innate strength. There are many who are unaware of this. It's reminiscent of the well-known parable of the beggar who, for many years, sits on an old box and begs for pennies until someone finally asks, "What's inside that box?" Unbeknownst to the beggar, it is brimming with gold. At the outset of The Power of Now, the author makes use of this tale or analogy to emphasize the need of tapping into one's inner strength. In many aspects of life, this holds true. The value we seek is already within us, but we tend to turn outside of ourselves for confirmation, accomplishment, and success. Living a life of constant self-doubt leads us to the realization that true happiness comes from inside, rather than from outside sources. Changing our focus from seeking approval from others to appreciating the worth we already possess can bring about a profound and transformative change in our outlook on life. Most people are trying to find little ways to replace what they feel is missing from their lives. For this reason, it is common for people to experience a spiritual awakening or a rediscovery of their true identity when they experience the abrupt loss of a significant asset, be it physical attractiveness, financial wealth, power, fame, or social standing, or all of the above. On the other hand, when they lose a major piece of what makes them who they are, everyone is always clinging to something in an attempt to pin down their identity. The ultimate measures of self-worth are frequently believed to be the outward manifestations of power or achievement. A loss, injury, or change in circumstances might take away these things, and when that happens, it can lead to an identity crisis. A profound spiritual awakening is possible for individuals at this stage. When our masks come off, we have to face our true selves. At that point, we can choose to either strengthen our connection to our essence or create a new, more flimsy sense of self. That's the place where horrible pain can happen. When one's exterior identity is shattered, it becomes necessary to go deeper into one's own being in order to swiftly construct a new, internally consistent identity. There is a possibility, but not a guarantee, that those who suffer profound loss will move to that more profound realm. Although it hurts, suffering can actually bring about change. In the depths of despair, we frequently face the fears, uncertainties, and insecurities that lie dormant within. We have the choice to be even more broken, or to be opened up to something better by facing this encounter. How we react to the pain we experience is a decision maker. It may involve a highly skilled athlete who, because to an accident, is unable to continue competing in that sport. Their sense of self was founded on that. A deepening is frequently the result of the subsequent sorrow. After that, they are dragged into their essence by the essence. This is a universal story that anyone whose reputation rests on their talents can relate to, whether they're professional athletes, famous singers, or successful business people. They learn the hard way that their identity isn't defined by their achievements or skills alone, if anything outside of themselves changes or disappears. This profound insight, though it may cause some suffering, is freeing in the end. This is when one's essential nature becomes apparent. The Roman goddess Fortuna, who is associated with good fortune, has a medieval representation. This piece beautifully captures the fleeting nature of things, the things that people find meaning in and rely on for their sense of self. Engraved in Latin on absolute being, it is the following: I shall reign, I have reigned, I have lost the kingdom. This is reflective of the natural progression of events, aging, which presents a chance for this epiphany, which many people regrettably fail to seize. Luck, fortune, and external events come and go. Those who base their sense of self-worth on transient factors are doomed to a life of constant flux, as what remains now can disappear tomorrow. Still, another path exists. The path of presence, the path of inner quiet. We can break free from the ebb and flow of luck and tragedy by firmly establishing our roots in the everlasting reality of who we are. Typically, this realization comes to light as one ages and the external world starts to erode its hold on them. With the onset of old age comes the inevitable decline in health, mobility, social standing, and employment opportunities. This begs the question: who will I be when I am no longer employed or have that position? One of the challenges of becoming older is coming to terms with the possibility that our past selves are not defined by the parts we've played. Our once cherished titles, accomplishments, and goods are eroding away one by one. When we are most exposed, we have the best chance of experiencing a spiritual awakening. These places where people face their own mortality have the power to change people's lives and help them reconnect with their authentic selves. Consequently, what matters is to feel the presence of self, which is not the individual, but something more fundamental, self-awareness, awareness. Then, liberated from the conceptual self-concept, there is no longer any necessity for a story to specify who one is. Over time, the narrative of one's life that is told internally diminishes. Realizing that we are not our tales, roles, or identities is the essence of spiritual awakening. All of it revolves around us as its consciousness. The ego's narrative and the need for external approval vanish when we start to identify with this higher self. We can just be ourselves. This is the result of all the brilliant ideas that have come before. I get it. You might still be riding high in the corporate world. Have fun with it. Because everything is transient, the most important thing is to enter the presence. The capacity to admire other people for who they are and what they can accomplish, as well as their knowledge and physical attractiveness, is a byproduct of this. Accomplishments and triumphs are not intrinsically negative, they go hand in hand with life's currents. Our approach to interacting with them is crucial. being firmly planted in the here and now allows us to relish in accomplishment without obsessing over it. It is possible to admire other people's skills and attributes without taking offense to them. Being able to appreciate life's splendor without judging it against others is a very liberating experience. An egocentric view would fail in such a situation. The ego's desire for anything from the other person makes it feel diminished whenever it appreciates something. When we meet someone who is physically more attractive, our egos tend to shrink, which might lead us to criticize them in an effort to feel better about ourselves. It's ridiculous, yet that's the way it functions. Egos are perpetually at odds with one another. Judgment and comparison are its bread and butter. The ego feels threatened and needs to devalue the superior in order to feel safe whenever it confronts them. Because of this, ego rest is elusive, constantly trying to outdo itself, competing with others, and looking for validation. However, we may enjoy other people without feeling envious or resentful after we let go of our egos. Coming from a place of present, though, allows you to see the beauty in another person and enhances your own sense of self-worth. You shouldn't let the success of other people make you feel less valuable. What incredible things that individual is capable of. I am not capable of doing it. However, just because one lacks the physical or mental resources to accomplish an objective does not mean that one is any less of a person. Showing up makes all the difference. It enables us to appreciate other people's attractiveness without letting it make us feel bad about ourselves. It enables us to rejoice in the successes of other people without experiencing feelings of jealousy or inadequacy. Because we are all manifestations of the same divine essence, genuine presence acknowledges that every one of us has special talents. It is very remarkable how much you value other people. Even witnessing someone hop into their Ferrari is entertaining, even if it's usually just an ego trip. However, the fact remains that it is an exquisite work of art. The ego is loving it, sure, but that's all right. It is still feasible to find the grace in material prosperity, even while the ego basks in it. The design, craftsmanship, and achievement that went into making a Ferrari are all admirable when someone drives one. Neither envy nor inferiority should consume us. Just as it is, we can enjoy it. On occasion, artists don't feel a need to boast about their works. They don't see themselves reflected in their work. Many people have inflated senses of self-importance, but it's rare for the most brilliant minds to be lacking in this trait. Maybe they're egotistical in other areas, but not when it comes to their works. For some reason, this helps them maintain their creative edge. The work of many of history's most brilliant minds has not been motivated by ego, not for the sake of fame or fortune, but because it was an authentic reflection of who they were. These artists have created. When one is able to separate themselves from their ego, they are able to experience the highest level of creativity, when ideas come to them freely and without the need for approval from others. Great artists, poets, scientists like Einstein, and thinkers all exhibit modesty, or a lack of ego. Regarding his understanding of space and time, he never got conceited. He never considered, "I made that." He was just. He had no idea how he rose to the status of one of the world's most recognized figures. The disparity between his actual self and the way others perceived him was astounding. Embracing humility is frequently the path to achieving greatness. People who had a profound impact on society through their ideas, like Albert Einstein, never let their profession define them. Without trying to get approval or praise, they just went with the flow of inspiration and let the truth come out of them. Using the power of presence, this is also the place where manifestation can take place. If one can establish contact with that entity, the cosmos will provide guidance on how to proceed. That is when God is present. Although it may not desire to, consciousness does have the ability to create through other individuals. The undifferentiated form already contains everything that is essential. Everything that is externally produced is merely a watered-down version of what is already there in its concentrated, non-form state. Composers often say that everything is pre-existing. All they do is bring it into existence through their creations. Nothing comes from a position of ego or personal desire. This is the core of creation. It is an ever-present, profound wellspring of cosmic consciousness. Being in harmony with that awareness allows us to manifest what is already there in the formless. We are conduits for creation. The capacity to materialize from the wellspring of all being is the pinnacle of presence power. If you're here, it's likely because you're interested in self-discovery and practicing mindfulness. After coming to a more fundamental understanding, this decision was taken. If you're on a quest for self-discovery, subscribe to our channel and we'll send you fresh videos daily. For that reason, I am certain that you will adore them. As soon as you understand the seriousness of this warning, please write now. I appreciate how quickly you responded. If we are willing to put in the time and effort, we can finish this job.